I've got a box of letters, and I have no idea what it is I might be trying to spell. Can you figure it out? Good morning, everybody. It's Stephen here for the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly vlog. It is vlog number 430 for November the 10th, 2025. So let's jump right into what I've been working on, because I've been working on this for quite a while. You've already seen it if you're a regular subscriber here. And if you haven't, well, if I do say so myself, be prepared to be amazed. Yes, there it is, Stormy C. This is a huge quilt. It measures 108 inches by 108 inches. This is the top. I have not yet got it quilted, and I'll talk more about that on Idiot Quilter tomorrow, because this presents me with a few problems that I'm in the process of solving. But needless to say, when I do get it quilted, I will definitely putting it on display for you to see. I am very, very proud of this piece, if I do say so myself, and well, I do. It worked out really well. So I'll talk more about why I'm so proud of it tomorrow on Idiot Quilter. But if you saw Stephen and Walter this week, you will know that I did talk about some of those problems there. And I don't know if I'll have an update on those problems tomorrow or not. Probably not. But we'll see. Okay, I'm starting to ramble. Let's move on. YouTube channel of the week. Well, you know how I love my 3D printer, and I've got lots of things to show you this week about 3D printing. And I especially love, I have a fascination with it, making different types of storage boxes, bins, bags, you name it. In fact, I have so many, I don't know what to do with them. But there's something to me that is fascinating about being able to make your own bins. Now, are these cheaper than buying, say, baskets at dollar store? Not really, when you consider the time. They don't take a lot of filament usually, but when you put in the time in that, it's easier to go to the dollar store and pick up some. And I love my little baskets from the dollar store. I use them for everything, and they keep disappearing on me. I don't know why. That's a strange thing. But nevertheless, I did find this video on YouTube, which really piqued my interest, and it's called Why Buy the Viral Mini Storage Bins? Yeah, right up my alley. So here's what I'm talking about. This week's YouTube video is one about 3D printing, of course, and this is by Uncle Jesse, and I watch a lot of his videos because he's got a lot of really great content for 3D printers. But this is one that I am going to print. In this particular video, he shows 3 different storage solutions, and all of these are available commercially, not as 3D prints, but in places like Home Hardware or Lowe's or that kind of thing. And I thought I'd give them a try. I have an idea in my head for what I want to use each of these prints for, which helps. But I just want to see how well they really do print, because he swears by them and says they're great. And they're also the kind of thing that I guess at Lowe's and Home Depot, they've gone kind of viral on the shelves. People are buying these up, and they're very inexpensive, and you can actually print them for a little less. Now, if you need a lot of these, I think you would just pay for them and buy them. But he does show you how well written the file is and how well it prints out. So that's to be seen. So what I will do is I am going to print some of these out, the various ones that he has here. You'll see them in the video if you check it out. And I'll show them to you in the weeks coming and let you know how much success I had. So you may want to check out Uncle Jesse's Why Buy the Viral Mini Storage Bins 3D Print Them. Now, if you've got a 3D printer and haven't tried some of these things, you should. And I'm going to show you the result of that a little later here in today's show, because I actually made some of the ones that are in that video. So, you might want to watch the video. Okay, so the link for it's in the show notes below, and there is a link for, of course, Sewing with Stephen, which we have every week there. There are links to my friends' channels, and there's links to my past week's videos as well for you to watch, if you haven't seen them already, at your convenience. And by the way, while I'm talking about watching my videos, it would be really helpful. I know every content creator says this, and I have a tendency not to say this, but I guess I should be. Please, if you have stumbled upon me and you like the content or you want to explore more, please subscribe. It costs you nothing, but it does actually, because I've looked at the analytics, it really does help get the word out about my channel out there. And the other thing is to give it a like or a dislike. Actually, to the algorithm, it's all the same. It doesn't matter whether you like it or dislike it. So go ahead, dislike me if you wish. It'll still count. And but I hope you'll like me. And yeah, subscribe. Now, of course, the notification bell, everybody tells you to ring it, to click on it. It doesn't work. Because I click on them all the time for any channels I subscribe to, and I subscribe to a lot. I click that bell all the time, and I am not getting notifications at all. And I haven't been for several months, and I don't know what that's all about. Maybe I should do a search on the internet and see, what other people are saying about that. But that's been an ongoing complaint with YouTube from subscribers' point of view, that bell is just useless. It just doesn't really work. However, having said that, you never know when YouTube will make it work again. So click it anyways. What the heck? It only takes a second, costs you nothing. Okay, that was a little self-promotion right there, wasn't it? All right, let's move to, sorry. Okay, if you're a regular, you know this happens all the time when I make my videos. I make my videos very early in the morning. I have been up for about half an hour before I start this or so, and I've had coffee, as you can see, but for some reason my voice has to get exercised before it stops doing this like gurgly, froggy thing in it. So rather than me talking about it all the time, let's just accept the fact that I will be clearing my throat at times. I'm sorry. Okay, again, I digress. Let us take a look at the weather outside, because it has changed drastically from this time last week. And let me just get the picture here for you. There it is. I took this picture about 10 minutes ago. Yeah, we're snowy. Not a lot. It looks, like it's a good healthy dusting, let's just say that. But it is bloody cold out there too this morning. Now, usually I go out for my walk right after I have done this, and I'm usually out on the street at about 6:30 in the morning. It's still dark, of course, this time of the year, and it's a little cooler, but I like walking at that time of day because, well, for a couple of reasons. One, it's not hanging over my head all day and I'm trying to squeeze it in between projects that I'm doing. And two, there's not a lot of people out on the streets at that time of day. You hit a couple of dog walkers, but that's it. And I kind of like the peace and the quiet. I plug in my ear pods, listen to my podcasts, and off I go. Not this morning. I got up this morning, I checked the temperature, and at the time that I got up this morning, it was -5. It is now -4 degrees C. So yeah, it's below freezing. And there's a bit of a wind, which makes it even colder. Wind chill factor right now with the wind makes it feel, it says according to my app, -12. It's Berber cold. Now, yeah, winter happens. It's Canada. But we have, in this area that I live in, which is a very protected area, it's affected by the Lake Ontario, that kind of thing. This is a bit of a, I don't know if I should use the term microclimate or whatever, but, people can have, just 10 miles north of us can have a real dump of snow, or the same 10 miles east of us, but to the west of us and here, we could have nothing. So we weren't expecting to see any kind of snowfall until maybe the end of this month, maybe into December. It is not unusual that we have a green Christmas, and we've had quite a few years of green Christmases. It's become a norm kind of thing. Now, you can blame it on climate change or whatever. But I don't know if that's it, or it's just because, as I said, we live here in this sort of a semi-microclimate. Um, I'm probably not using that term correctly, but that's okay. Whatever, you get the point. So I decided, okay, it's icy out there too. Actually, Walter went out last night after I went to bed, nighthawk that he is, and cleared off our front step and the sidewalk a little bit because he knew it was going to freeze it, and it was wet, this stuff. Um, because our ground isn't frozen yet, so there's it's just being absorbed in the ground. As soon as the sunlight hits it, if there's sunlight today, it'll probably disappear. But he went out and shoveled off the stuff that was on our sidewalk and driveway and front sidewalk, because it'll turn to ice. And in spite of his good efforts, I know right now it is slippery out there. And so, do I really want to risk falling? Because I've been very lucky. I have never taken a major fall and hurt myself, but, I'm not getting any younger, and I don't want to do that kind of thing. So I'm going to wait till later in the day. It means rearranging my daily schedule a little bit. I am a creature of habit and a creature of routine. I get up at around between 5 and 5:15 every morning. I don't know why. I'm retired. I've been retired for a long time, 13 years. And I wasn't getting up that early when I first retired. In fact, I only started getting up, it seemed, earlier and earlier in the last year. So now that's become part of my routine. If I sleep in past 5:15, to me, that's wrecking my day. I get up, I do what I need to do to get, cleaned up, dressed, everything, get my morning coffee, turn on my computer, check my blood pressure. And then if it's a Monday or a Tuesday, I am here working on this and the Idiot Quilter episode. And then usually I can at least start the recording process and then go out for my walk at approximately, 6:30, 6:35. And off I go. I get back here at about 7:15, maybe a little less, depends on how fast I'm walking that day. My walks are not long. I only walk on average about 2.3, 2.4 kilometers. And that's really not a long walk, but it's something. It's keeping moving, right? And then I come back in and do other stuff I want to do the rest of the day. But the problem with getting up that early is that by about mid-afternoon, I need a nap. And I'm really trying to fight the urge for that nap, because what I end up doing is laying on the couch, turning on a document, or as you've heard me call them before, docu-nap, because, I doze. And I can be laying on that couch I try not to get on the couch before 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but I can be laying on that couch for a good hour and a half. And then I come upstairs and Walter's making dinner and I set the table or whatever. I turn on the news at 5. I sit in my lazy boy and I watch the news. And then at about 5:30-ish, usually, sometimes a little later, dinner's on the table. By 5:35, you think I joke, we're finished. We eat incredibly fast. In fact, probably too fast. Both of us do. It's not quite 5 minutes, but let's just say we joke sometimes that it took 2 hours to prepare dinner, took us, 2 minutes to eat it. Then we clean up the table, all that kind of stuff, go downstairs and watch our stories until bedtime. Bedtime is anywhere between 9 to 9:30. I try to go to bed by 9:30, do my evening routine. Walter at that time usually goes out for his walk because, he's nocturnal. And I read for, until my eyes start to close, put my book away, and repeat, rinse and repeat the next day. Yeah, that's my routine through it all. And heaven help you if you disrupt my routine, because it throws me off. I told you I'm a creature of habit, of routine. And yeah, I need to readjust my routine, I have decided today. And possibly this cold weather's making me do it. We'll see how this works out. I have to go for the walks. I have to do something like that. I also need to lose weight. Walter's been a good boy since he was diagnosed as pre-diabetic, to the point where he's lost about 30 pounds. I need to lose weight as well. Now, I have always been a stocky gentleman, even in my early years. I was never a skinny mini. I was never humongously fat. But as you grow older, you don't have the metabolism anymore, do you? And so, yeah. Plus, it doesn't really help when you have a cupboard full of chocolate. I joke about that, my chocolate and cookies. But I have this really bad habit, and I've got to break out of it. There is always chocolate in the cupboard. And just recently we got a huge bag of those chocolates that have pistachio in them, and that people are calling Dubai chocolates. I thought they came from Dubai, but I found out yesterday that they actually are called Dubai chocolate. They don't necessarily come from Dubai. So thank you, Dana, my friend Dana in Regina, for informing me of that. And sorry if I jumped down your throat and said other things. Okay. I stand to be corrected. I'm an idiot. But yeah, so this morning, before I came down here into my sewing room and everything to do this, I went through the cupboard. And I know this will make some people cry. I threw out chocolate. I had a hoard of it. I threw out anything that was open, that had been sitting there for a while, got rid of that. I took that big bag of chocolates, I sealed it up, I put it in a Ziploc bag, and I put it out of sight. In fact, my plan is, there's quite a few of them in it. They are good. Walter will not eat them because he's a good boy. He does eat chocolate, but he buys a special chocolate that has no sugar added or something like that. And he's very disciplined. He only has a couple of little squares, tiny ones, and that does him. I wish I had his willpower. And I sealed them up in a Ziploc bag, put them down with all my Christmas presents, because my idea is I'm going to divide that bag up and throw some of those candies into my Christmas bags. Yeah. Now, I have other candy. I hoard it. I have Halloween candy. Now, the thing with Halloween candy is it's not good chocolate. You know, those fun-sized little chocolate bars, that's not good chocolate. And I am somewhat picky about my chocolate, but when I have a chocolate emergency, I'll eat anything. So, and I think many of you can identify with the chocolate emergency. So they're already sealed up in a bag, but they're in a cupboard. And it's a cupboard that is not readily accessible to me when I get the craving. And I have to think twice. Do I really want to go in this cupboard? Do I really want to open all that stuff up and eat it? But I cannot bear to throw it out. So, yeah, I'm going to try. The other bad habit I have in the morning, and I don't know how I got on all of this because this is not even in my notes. My other bad habit is every morning, well, first of all, when I get up, I make my coffee and I have my yogurt. My yogurt is one of those individual size cups, and it's a probiotic yogurt. I buy it at Costco, Kirkland's brand. I like it. And I have that every morning. Now, why do I have that? I have it for the probiotics because some time ago, I was having some problems with acid reflux. I tried the things for that you can get, the over-counter stuff. Didn't seem to make a lot of difference. And I didn't really like eating these things. And then, I got thinking, well, probiotics supposed to be good for your internal organs, for, your stomach and stuff like that. So I started eating it. And you want to know something? It works. I do not have a problem with acid reflux or heartburn anymore. But I only have one of those little cups a day. That's, in my mind, that is healthy. And, that I will continue with. So, essentially, oh, and instead of it, when I come down to watch TV at night, I have a little dish. And I have like a couple of cookies in that dish, and I have some candy in that dish, chocolate in that dish. And so I'm laying on the couch, not getting any exercise there, watching TV, sucking on my chocolate. Not good. And the thing is, it's a bad habit because I'm not really hungry at all. It's just, it's become something that I do. So I've got to break the cycle. So that's why I'm hiding all or throwing away all the candy and that out of sight, out of mind. The other thing I've got to get used to too, and I keep trying, I always have it beside me, is water. I go in spurts. I am like a camel. I can go for days without water. Not good. I need to drink more water. I know that, so you don't need to write that in the comments. I know all about it. That's why I have this bottle. I've had this bottle all the time. And some days I'm really good. But what I should be aiming for is to drink 2 full ones of this. This is a liter bottle. 2 liters of water a day. I have no idea if that's equivalent to 8 glasses or whatever they tell you to drink. But if I was able to drink 2 of those, plus it takes away a bit of the craving for the sweet stuff. The other way I can battle it is eat fruit, more fruit. Now, we do eat fruit and vegetables, okay? We're very conscientious about, getting in nutrition. But this time of the year, and really any time of the year, here where we live, getting fruit that's half decent is not an easy job. You can't eat bananas because bananas have a lot of sugar in them. So Walter tells me. He says you can eat them when they're not quite ripe. That's better. Well, who wants to eat a green banana? And bananas are expensive. Well, this time of year, the apples are in. So, I like apples. So I'm eating apples. So what I want to do is I try to have one apple a day because it keeps the doctor away. Yeah. But maybe increase that because apples have their own natural sweetness. And at night, after dinner, instead of eating chocolate, have an apple. Sound like my mother. That's what she used to say to us when we were kids. Hey, Mom, can I have a cookie? No, have an apple. Hey, Mom, I want some chocolate. No, have an apple. We always had apples when I was a kid in the house. And yeah. So I'm got to do this. I have to. I'm feeling a little achy lately, and I blame that at, well, part of the problem there was I kind of strained myself with that big quilt when I was finishing it up and, because quilts are heavy. And if you're not a quilter, you will laugh at this, but if you're a quilter, you know what I mean. And I did other things too. Also, it's just a good habit. Lose some weight. I didn't get on the scales yet. I'm afraid to get on the scales. I'll get on the scales later today. But I hate it because the scales will just pull out a hand and slap me when I get on it or yell at me, get off, pig. That kind of thing. So we'll see how this all works out, what we're doing. But I got to do something because at my age, you just don't have any metabolism left. And your get up and go gets up and goes without you. So yeah. Well, I wasn't intending to use that as my what's pissing me off today. But you want to know something? Maybe I think that's what it is today. I have to remember to change the title of this. I was going to talk about politics, but the hell with that. Okay. So let's go on to, speaking of healthy and things like that, let's talk about what's under the grow lights. Here we go. This grow light number 1, we have the weird looking lettuce. Don't know why it grows this way, but it does. It's perfectly edible. There's no problem with it. It's kind of neat to look at. But yeah, so got to harvest some of this though because it's getting to the point where it could start to bolt real soon and then, then it's no fun to eat. Oops, wrong way. Walter's got a few things going. Here, I'm not sure exactly what he's got going. Well, I know he has some basil in here. I think this is lettuce. I think he's got lettuce in here. I don't know if he's got anything in this pot, the one furthest to the left. But if you look here, this is this little piece of basil he started as his experiment, trying to root it. And it seems to be surviving, although there's a little brown on it, so we'll see. But these are new basils coming up. And I like to throw those in a salad. It's kind of a little surprise. Now, it's not for everybody because you may not like the taste of basil basically raw. Um, but I do kind of like it, and I don't put much in a salad, but you get a forkful of salad and you bite it and go, ooh, there's a little bit of basil, a little bit of excitement in your mouth kind of a thing. And here are our tomato plants, and we still have, this is one of our older pepper plants. It's doing fine. There's it's time to get to harvesting those as well. I think back here in the jungle, way back, the lighter green ones, I think that might be other pepper plants coming up. Um, but what we have here are tomatoes. Yes, and they're getting a little bigger. They're only cherry tomatoes, as I've told you before, and this is a low-growing tomato bush, basically. They're called kitchen tomatoes. And we're trying them out to see how they do under the lights. And so far, pretty good. And we've got lots of flowers on it. And where there's flowers, there will be fruit. So, yeah, we have that. And I don't know what else he has planned for the garden. It's funny. I'm the one that had the idea to buy the grow lights. And it ended up that Walter's taken them over. But that's fine. He likes gardening, though. He does. So, this is something else for him to do. I often worry that he doesn't have enough interests, although he tells me he does. He likes to putter. He's a putterer. And also, he likes to be on the computer most of the day, reading his news articles and everything like that, and researching. He's an excellent researcher. He can find anything on the internet. Who needs AI when I have Walter? Maybe he's AI. I don't know. Okay, so the garden's coming along very, very nicely. So, I haven't really bought anything new lately. Walter's been buying stuff. He bought lights for the outside of the house, put up, and some other things. And I mean lights like light fixtures. We needed new ones, and he found ones that he likes. Because they've got outlets in them as well, which will make life a little bit more convenient when it comes to putting Christmas lights up. I don't know when he'll get around to putting those lights up there, because now it's gotten really cold. And, well, I think it's supposed to warm up this week. In fact, I didn't even mention that on here. There's snow in the forecast for today again, 55% chance. But tomorrow, it's going to 3, and then Wednesday 6, and Thursday 7, Friday 7, and Sunday 8, and 6. Yeah, so it's warming up. So this is just a little glitch in the season. So maybe my walks in the morning will continue. We'll see how that works out. Okay, so I got myself off topic. I was going to talk about what this is. This is what I did buy. It is filament. I only buy bamboo filaments for my printers now because I really like their filaments. But I found at Canada Computes some weeks ago, Creality Rainbow. I love the rainbow filaments. I've used them many times before in my other printers, my Creality printers. But bamboo doesn't seem to make rainbow yet. I wish they would. They make dual colors, the ones I've shown you before, where you turn it a certain way and it turns one color and then it turns to the other, and which are great. But I like the rainbow too, and I especially like this brand for a couple of reasons. One, it seems to work very well in my printers, in my bamboo printers. And two, it is considerably cheaper. It's like about $22 for a spool of this, where for a spool of Creality PLA, like basic, is $30 or $29.99 unless you buy in bulk, and then it gets a little cheaper. So on the weekend, we went down to Canada Computes and I bought 3 more spools of this filament, and yeah, so I've got enough to do it things with. But it's a good filament. It works fine. Okay, so then speaking of 3D printing, what have I been printing? Well, remember the video that I just showed you, the video clip about storage bins? Well, these were 3 of the types of storage bins that they had on there, and I decided to make them. And they turned out really great. Now, to the far right, we have this little bucket. And you know, this is modeled after these buckets you can buy for your paint or whatever at like Home Depot or Lowe's or that kind of thing. Usually has their name on them. And the person in that video decided to do his own version of them, or found a version of them. I'm not sure if he designed it or he found another one online. But I went and did it too, and they are so stinking cute. And they have a lid, as you can see here, and a handle. I don't really have any use for them, but I just want to see how well they would print, and they print it very well. To the far left, you have this. Now, I'm sure you've seen the large Rubbermaid totes, because that's what these are modeled after. No, nowhere near as big. But I found this one that had a little stand for them as well. Now, they slide right in there. They have lids on them. They'd be great for holding nuts and bolts or little bits and pieces, bobbins, that kind of thing. Ooh, great idea. Bobbins. Yeah, I might throw some bobbins in there. Yeah, but that printed out very nicely too. But the big one is this one in the middle. This is modeled after those mini tool, whatever you call them, tool storage bins that everybody was getting, and they were making them in pink to appeal to the ladies, and everybody was buying them to put their sewing things in or other stuff. I have one myself, not pink, that I bought, and I love it. I keep it over by close to my 3D printers that have some of my basic tools that I need for 3D printing. So I printed this one out, printed out beautifully, took a little bit of time, but not that much. I think I did it in a day, or well, in 24 hours, something like that. And it's now over by my sewing machine, and I used to have a thing with all my stuff hanging out of it. Well, now they're all in these little drawers, and things are neat, with it all nice and neat. So yeah, these worked out really well. So if you have a 3D printer and you're looking for something like this, do watch that video, because he also put links in the show notes in that video as to where you can get your hands on the files, and they're free, where you can get your hands on the files for these. So check it out. I'm very pleased with them. Now, further on though, I've been doing more printing. Of course I have. So more nutcrackers. These are small nutcrackers. They take a while to make, and I don't know if they're really worth making. 2 of them are articulated. The one actually over on the side with the green and that, the reason it's kind of those colors, you might think I should have had more traditional colors there, is just simply that's what was in my printers at the time, because it was an experiment. I might make more of those. And I made some little mini ones down here, which... yeah, those ones I'm not going to bother with. But this guy I really like here on the far left. This one's fun too, but these take a long time because of the color changes in the bamboo, and they create a lot of poop. And although I love my color changer, I really start to think seriously about, you know, does something need to be printed in color? All the time, because how much time is it going to take? Is it worth that time? And is it worth all the poop? But anyways, I want to see how those worked out. But as I said, this guy with the green jacket, I might make more of him. We'll see, maybe in different colors. I'm thinking ahead to Christmas dinner. I like to put something near everybody's little place setting that they can take home with them. And I'm thinking, you know, this guy might be good for that. And moving right along. Yeah, Christmas tags. Okay. These are reusable, I think. I think you could reuse them. There is a spot to put, you know, to, from on there. I'm going to attach them to those Christmas bags I'm putting together. However, I have to experiment on one. I think I could write on them with a Sharpie, but if you use a little rubbing alcohol, you can erase. Usually you can erase Sharpie with rubbing alcohol. And so my idea is you put somebody's name on there, and I'll just tell them, you want to reuse this tag, just give it a little spurts of rubbing alcohol, and you can reuse it for something else. So, all right, I'd like to think that I'm doing my part for sustainability in our environment by making these more than one use tags, saving, paper and all that stuff in the garbage. But this generates poop because of the colors and that. So, yeah, I don't know. But anyways, I think it's kind of a novel idea. I'll let you know how well it works out with the Sharpie idea. I haven't tried that yet. And we'll go from there. Anything else in here I want to show you? Nope, that's all I've been working on. Actually, I am working on another little project, a little, what do you want to call it? Vanity project? You'll have to tune in next week to find out what that is. Okay, so that takes me to old video clips. And this one is where Walter and I were talking about appropriate clothing. And we kind of focus on females. Oops.
Let's get off drugs. Let's go to what Walter said he was going to talk about this week that we left you hanging on. Inappropriate clothing out. And this is what I would like to call...
It's not just going
Wally.
Out to...
What not to wear by Wally?
Well, I'm saying not out to necessarily a restaurant, which that's included as well, but out shopping maybe or whatever.
Out in public.
I mean, many years ago you saw women with curlers, and you don't really see that anymore. But I mean that's dating me, right? So anyway, but what I don't like, what I think is inappropriate is sometimes it's more like young girls that are heavy, a bit on the heavy side, and they wear tube tops or something, and there's a lot of extra skin hanging.
Or the little midriff things.
Right? It looks a little bit not very good.
Or the guys with the pants down and they're showing their plumber's crack.
Exactly.
Or they're down the penguin pants.
Or, people that wear pants and they have a big rip in them in inappropriate areas.
Yeah, like in the crotch.
So you sort of like everything's sort of hanging around, right? So, and why can't people dress more appropriately for when they go out of the house? And then that also goes to, I don't really understand why some people that are, and usually women that are very heavy, that wear skin tight, leotard type material that sort of shows everything, right? And when we were actually a few weeks ago in the art gallery, there was a woman that was trying to look well dressed. She was wearing very, very tight leather pants, to the point where
everybody know what I mean?
To the point where it was very inappropriate. I didn't think it was. Maybe I shouldn't have been looking there.
Well, you couldn't miss it.
Yeah, I know. So that sort of thing. Like, why don't people check what they're wearing before they leave the house?
I think sometimes you can blame the fashion industry and fashion designers. Fashion designers portray these tight-fitting clothes or very low-cut things or things that show a lot of skin. I'm not a Victorian. I mean, I don't want them up to here and down to their ankles. But they show it, and they show it on models that can get away with it. And people will look at it and go, if I have that outfit, I could look as good as that. No, you got to know your body type. I mean, I'll look at it. I don't want women to think we're picking on women's clothing. Men's clothing is bad too. There's
or like the guy that's wearing skin tight jeans and you can see everything that's underneath.
So it's no longer this. It's more like okay. You know what I mean.
I mean, maybe if he's going to a bar to pick somebody up, maybe that's okay. But
just say it. Camel toe. Yes. But it's hard for men my age to buy clothes that are appropriate because it's all youth oriented. And these guys want to wear their pants down. Some, they go right down to the backs of their legs. The teenagers will do that. But older men, I have seen older men and men even up into my age who are wearing the we used to call them hip huggers, but low-waisted. and you see the tops of their underwear. And yeah, okay, you bought expensive underwear. It's got Calvin's name all over it or whatever, and the whole bit. I don't need to see that. I really don't. I'm happy for you. I'm glad you can afford expensive underwear. I don't need to see it. Or worse, I don't need to see the underwear band and this much crack.
Yeah.
And we used to have this problem in school with the kids, the boys, and that. And I used to say, pull up your pants, pull up your pants. Actually, it was kind of funny because they try to walk up the stairs and they look like penguins trying to get up there. And they would wear pants that were, they might have a 28-inch waist. They're wearing pants that are 40-inch waist. And I'd say to them, you really don't want to grow into those, okay? Because someday 40 might be tight on you.
And I'm not saying necessarily like people don't have to get dressed up to go out. Like just if things don't look quite right on you.
Well, have some pride in your appearance.
Yeah.
And be realistic about it. But like we used to say to the kids, I would just say to them with these boys with the pants down, I said, okay, inappropriate. Girls, you cannot wear a scoop neck or whatever you want to call it, or V-neck down here where I can see cleavage in school. It's not appropriate in an educational environment. Or as our principal used to say, beachwear is not appropriate in school. So you'd see their cleavage. The boys, you'd see plumber's crack. I used to say, just say no to crack, kids. Just say no to crack with it. But constantly, when I was a teacher, especially this time of the year, like when the weather got warmer, clothes would come off and, it's just, and then of course, you get the argument, I'm exercising my individual rights and choices. You don't have any. And then there were times when I have to take some of the girls aside and go, I know you're wearing it because it's fashionable, but I want you to understand something. It's a distraction in class. Boys at your age don't think with this, they think with other parts. That's not your fault, but why put yourself in harm's way with this kind of thing? And I'd say to the boys, girls do not appreciate seeing your rear end. They don't find that sexy. They find a nicely dressed young man sexy because it says you have class, you have respect, and that you're intelligent. Don't look like a gangster. You're not in prison. You're in school. But,
Well, that's sort of my rant. It's more, I think people need to take a little bit more time or a little bit more
pride in their appearance.
pride in their appearance.
Just sensible. Just sensible.
And like, look in a mirror and,
I know it's an individual thing. It's just, it's everybody has their own individuality. They want to dress like an individual, but I've always said that to the kids too. Do you think you're an individual in what you're wearing today? Stand up, stand up, stand up. What do we have in common? You all got the same style on. Is that individual? Where did you get that style? What magazine did you see it in? What television commercial? What movie? Which rock star was wearing this look and you're trying to imitate it? Is that being an individual? Go home and think about it. And cover up, for God's sakes. Especially when, lift your arm. Then, sir. Yeah, I didn't need to see that. I did not need to see that. But anyways.
So that takes me to events in the past week. Well, the big event this week happened on Saturday. We went to a Quilts of Valor Sew Day. We talked about it on Stephen and Walter Live the other day. Showed you one picture of the group. But I do have more to say about that and more things to show you about that day tomorrow on Idiot Quilter, since it does deal with quilting. So we'll save that for then. And anything else in the past week? Well, we got a flu shot last Wednesday. So that's good. We're good for another year on that. And yeah, that was about last week. The other big thing was, of course, I finished, and you've already seen it, the Stormy Sea quilt. So yeah, what am I doing this week? I don't know, but I have some plans. I always have something to do, and that will always involve sewing and my 3D printers as well. So, and I will share what it is next week here on my vlog. So one last thing to share with you. I talked about the snow. Here is one little picture of when it first started to fall which was Sunday morning. And I took this, and at the time, it was just a slight dusting. But you've already seen what I showed you earlier today on the Ring camera with it. So, yeah, winter is here, but I don't think it's going to stay for very long. Thank goodness. I know that in some of the other parts of the world, from what people have been saying, they've been experiencing a little bit colder weather in areas where it's not usually that cold. So, don't know. Weather is weird, isn't it? So on that note, I hope you have a really great week. Tune in for Idiot Quilter tomorrow. Tune in for So Chatty. Have no idea what we're doing with it this coming Friday, but we'll find something. And I hope you have a really great week. We'll talk to you later. Bye for now.